Hello. Okay, this is the second Jojo recording tutorial. I made another one that is how to record something. Recording crash course tutorial for the musician-songwriter who is not very good at computers. So, follow that video and get an audio interface set up, and then open up Reaper. Reaper is our digital audio workstation. This is the program that we're gonna master over time. It's gonna be awesome. Alright, so you open it up, and there is nothing here. Okay, so you double click here, you make a track. We're gonna make 2 tracks, so double click again. You can make tracks in a lot of ways. You can do a lot of things in this program in many different ways. You could right click, and you could click Insert New Track. And if you see right here, it says Ctrl T, so you could also hit Ctrl T. So Insert New Track, or Ctrl T. All of them will work. If you click somewhere on the panel of the track, you can delete them. You could also right click and just do a bunch of stuff here. You can also check out these menus up here. Insert new track. There's a lot of the same menus in different places if you just look around. But for the most part, just double click. You know what I mean? It's very easy. Okay, so we're going to make, similar to the last video, we're going to make a vocal track, and we're going to make an acoustic guitar track. You can double click in these spaces to name things. Naming your files and your tracks and all that stuff is really important over time. So get into that habit if you can. Okay, so you're going to need to probably hit record arm so that you can then click this button, because this won't be showing by default. Then you select which channel you want to put onto this track. I'm using an input number 3 on my mixer. You probably will have a mixer with like 4 inputs, 1 or 2 or 4. I've got 32 because I'm a beast. Okay, so 3 and 4. This is where my microphone is plugged in, and this is where my acoustic guitar microphone is plugged in. So this is basically where we are from the last video. Now, if you want this to be visible all times without having to arm the track, you can go to Options, Themes, Theme Adjuster, Controls, and if you click these arrows, there's a few different menus you can fuck with. On this area, there will be like by default a bunch of these things like hit, and it makes it so that certain things will pop up when you're doing certain things. I like to just unclick all the hides so that everything is visible at all times. Just makes it easier for me. You can also move around a lot of like views, so you can grab this, move it this way, make it small. You can do a lot of like that kind of stuff. You can grab the bottom of a track, you can grab between a track, you can grab, you can grab things. So experiment if you want to. I just like to make it look nice. There's a mixer that you can do view mixer, which you can also see is Ctrl M. So the mixer can pop up, but sometimes it takes up a lot of space and you want to get rid of it. You can get rid of it down here. X. Let's bring it back. Mixer. You can hit Control M. Control M for mixer. Control M. These things you can pull up. Look at that. That's nice. That can be helpful down the road. All right. First tip. Second tip. I don't know. We're going to color code our tracks, because then it makes it easier and it looks pretty. Right click. Go down to here. Track color. Set tracks to custom color. And then you can pick any color you want. I do yellow for vocals, personally. Right click, track color, set tracks to custom color. You can slide this around. You can really get colorful if you want. Alright, so we've got a vocal track, an acoustic guitar track. So I'm gonna record monitor off because I'm monitoring through my mixer, so I'm gonna turn both of those off. You have to click it twice, that's kind of frustrating. If you scroll with your scroll wheel, you can zoom in and out, which will be better when we record something. But in this area, if you hold Control and then scroll your mouse wheel up and down, you can adjust everything at once. So this is a pretty quick way to like zoom in and out. So Control and scroll wheel. You can also do the same thing with the plus and minus signs on your keyboard. You don't have to push, oh no, it's page up and page down. And then in here, you can do plus or minus to zoom in and out. You don't have to hold shift for a plus or minus. It's just the plus or minus key next to, you know, the numbers on your keyboard. Okay, so we've got color-coded things. We've got our tracks. We can arm them to start recording. Oh my god. Let's see. Let's get another microphone in here. Okay. Okay, we've got our track colors set up. You can have this set up so that when you open Reaper, it automatically does all that for you. And you do that by going to File, Project Templates. Okay, so to make a template, you set your thing up the way you want it, and then you do Project Templates, save project as template. You go to a folder where you know where things will be. I use this drive. You can do it in my documents or my music or whatever. Right-click and make a new folder. I usually title mine Reaper Files. You can title it whatever you want. I prefer Reaper Files, just because it is what they are. Okay, and then you title it, and you title it Reaper Template First Edition. You can do it whatever you want. Okay, save. Now you go to Options, go down to Preferences. You're going to click on this project button right there. You're going to go over here. If you read this, it says when creating new projects, use the following project as a template. So you can click Browse, then you find the same thing that you found the first time, and then you click Reaper Template, click Open. Now, when you start Reaper, let's not save it, just to be risky. Check this out. So you open up Reaper. Boom. Now you've got a template. So that'll save you that little bit of time every time you get going. And as you get more advanced, maybe your template will get crazier. I'm all about the templates. If you want to record with a metronome, it's pretty easy. You click this button right here. Metronome. Metronome enabled. So if you turn it off, you just click it, push play, nothing happens. If you turn this on, you've got a metronome. It's kind of quiet though. If you right click, there's a metronome setting that pops up. So this gives you different choices. You can turn the volume up right here, primary beat, secondary beat. So that's your volume for the metronome. You can also make it so that when you're playing it back, it doesn't play, but when you're recording, it does play. We'll just keep it on all the time for now. You can do a count in. These are some nice little menus to look at. But at the end of the day, turning it off is just by clicking it, and by turning it on, just by clicking it. Way down here, oh, you actually can't see. Let me move my, here we go. Down here below me, I'm gonna push spacebar to stop. This is the BPM. You can click on it once, and then you can put in whatever number you want, 200, enter. And then start the metronome and it'll be really fast. Or you can, put in a slow one. Or you can actually tap it with your mouse, and as you tap it, it'll figure out what rate you're tapping at. So if you're listening to a song and you start tapping along to the beat, you can figure out what the metronome is. So we'll stick with the default metronome, which is 120. It's really good to record to a metronome. It'll make your life way easier. Please do it. Okay, so metronome on. We've got a template set up. We've got colored tracks. It's beautiful. So I guess we record something. Then I'll show you some more stuff you can do after you get some recordings down. Now let's say I want to do 2 acoustic guitar tracks. I'm gonna not arm it for a second just to make this easier for me. I'm gonna hit right click. You can duplicate track. Duplicate track. So now you've got 3 tracks ready to go. You can arm one of them, and then we can record into this one, and then we'll do another track, and then we'll do another track. You can also click on a track and hit Ctrl C, and then click down here, and then click Ctrl V on your keyboard. For Apple, it's Option Control or Option C, Option V, or whatever it is. I don't use Apple. Okay, so we've got a bunch of acoustic tracks ready to go. We've got our vocal track. Let's grab a guitar. Let's turn our metronome. It is on. All right, so we're gonna click this to go back to the beginning of the project. You can also hit the home button, it says, which is kind of near page up key on your keyboard. Or you can hit W. That's a weird one, but W will bring you back to the beginning of your project. So click record. So we are now recording. You hear the metronome? You can, if you want, tap along with your guitar. Alright, this is going to pop up. Just click prompt to save, delete new files, uncheck this, and just click save all. Okay, so now we've got a poorly played and tuned guitar. I'm going to fix that. Okay, so we've got these 2 recordings. We didn't even record vocals that time, so if you click on the file, you can click on it and click delete. You can hit Ctrl Z if you make a mistake, Ctrl Z. You can also go up here. There's also undo right there. There's a lot of ways to do these things, like what I said. Edit, undo, but right here it says Ctrl Z. I use Ctrl Z all the time. Also look at this, Ctrl C for copy. You can cut with Ctrl X. So these things right here tell you what you can do, Ctrl V. So if you ever forget what your little keyboard shortcuts are, look around here. There's a bunch of them to learn, but you don't need, 99% of them. You just need a few of them. Okay, so we don't need the beginning of this guitar track, so you can grab the very end of it, pull it over. You can also pull it back. That is the joy of computers. Now, if you scroll in, you'll zoom in to where your playhead is located. So if you want to click right here and then zoom in, you'll be able to find exactly where that is. You can also hold Control and zoom in. And if you scroll when you're over here, it'll scroll these up and down as well. So just so you know, if you're over here with your mouse or if you're over here with your mouse, scrolling your mouse wheel will do different things, which can be confusing, but it's just something you get used to over time. So we could, you could also, if you wanted to mute my vocal track that wasn't very good, you can go to the very top of a track and you can pull this down and this will be a volume. See how it disappears? So you can do that too. That would be helpful for if there's a little part that you want to turn down just a little bit because it's too loud. So what you can do is you can split files in half too. So if you hit S on your keyboard, it'll chop the file in half wherever your playhead is. So you can hit S and it'll split it. Oops, that'll happen a lot. So now I've got this piece of this track split off from the rest of it on either side, and now I can pull down the volume up at the top. You gotta get these little arrows. Item volume, pull it down, click, pull down, and you can just adjust that one little part. Or you can do the whole big part. So we're gonna just delete this entire vocal track because it's garbage. You can select either all the pieces individually and delete them, or you can double click on the track and it'll select the whole thing. So double click on the track and then it'll select what's recorded. You can delete with the delete key. If you don't double click on this and you only click on the track and hit delete, it'll delete the track. But if you double click on it, then it'll select the track. You can delete that. All right, we've got colors, we've got metronome, we've got template, we've got double tracking coming up. Okay, so generally when you record a guitar, you're going to want to record it 2 times to make it sound good. So I'll demonstrate that. I'm going to delete this again because that was just a test. Double click. We're not recording vocals, so I'm going to turn that off. We're just recording acoustic guitar on this one track. So let me record a sick guitar part. When you're listening to a metronome, you're going to want to count. You can hear the different beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So count to yourself, get into the groove, and then start recording. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that was sloppy. We're gonna, you can, grab the beginning so you don't hear any of that. Now the problem is, it's only snapping to these chunks. What if you want to pull it just past that thing and you can't? That's very frustrating, isn't it? Wow. You can click this button up here. This is the snap button. There's a shortcut for it, which is Alt S, but you can just click this little magnet thing. So if you click that, now when you grab a side of a file, it will move freely. You see what I'm saying? It won't click to those lines. So if you wanted to move right to the beginning of the sound, boom. If you turn the snap back on and grab it, it'll start snapping to each line, which can be really helpful too. So there's a time for both. So you're going to want to use this button sometimes. You can also click the edge if you're trying to move it, and if you hold shift, now you can move better. And then if you let go of shift, it'll start snapping again. So that's just like some file manipulation, if you will. All right, I'm going to delete this again. I'm going to try to play it a little bit better in time. Okay, that's just like some type of a rhythm. We're going to unarm that track. We're going to arm the next one, and I'm going to play the exact same thing underneath it. Okay, now that's just like some random rhythm. I just made that up, so it's not like, you know, good. So, clean up the track a little bit, make it end where you want it to. If you zoom in, you gotta click somewhere. You can click anywhere you want. Click somewhere, and then zoom in. Maybe hold shift, and make this nice. Zoom in. This is fine. You don't have to do this, but I'm just showing you how you do this. Okay. Now, if you listen to this, I'm going to unarm it. If you listen to this back now, we're going to turn off the metronome. I'm pushing spacebar to push play. Okay, we've got two guitars playing in both of our headphones right now. The idea of double tracking is that you put the same guitar part recorded 2 times, but you separate them to the left side and the right side. So this is your pan knob right here, and if you click it and you pull it down, you can pull it all the way to the left, or you can push it up all the way to the right. So whatever way this goes is what speaker this track will play out of. So we're going to put the first one to the left all the way, and we're going to put the second one to the right all the way. And it's going to sound a lot cooler right away. Just listen in your headphones. Now, if you play something exactly right both times, it'll sound really cool when you double track it. So that's really common with like electric guitars and distortion and stuff, but it's like one of the most commonly used things in recording is just double tracking something and then panning it all the way to the left and panning it again all the way to the right with a different version. Because those little imperfections sound pretty cool. It thickens it up a little bit. And you can also do that with vocals. So just remember that. You just got to sing it twice, exactly the same. You can also make another track and keep it in the middle. We'll do that. Start it at the beginning. Hit record. Oh, our metronome isn't on. Can't have that. Press stop. I'm going to hit Ctrl Z to delete this. You can just delete it the other way with delete key if you want. Metronome, turn it on. Now we record. Hit record. 2, 3, 4. Okay, that was a shitty guitar solo, so let's do it again. Click, delete, go back to the beginning, hit record. Okay. Now we've got a guitar solo, and we're going to keep it panned in the middle. So this will be playing out of both ears, basically. Then we got one track on one track on the other. One track right down the middle. You'll notice that you can't see the meter when a track is armed when it's playing back. So click it. So now this is where the mixer could come in handy. If you hit Ctrl M, now the mixer is there. It's huge though. Let's make it a little bit smaller. You gotta find this thing and pull it down. Okay, so this one is a little loud. We can turn it down. So the mixer is basically the same thing as these buttons, but now you've got a nice view of them, and these are the volume faders. And if you pull a knob, you'll notice that this knob right here will move if I pull this. See, it's the same knob. It's just in a different form. So you can turn this knob and that will turn up and down too. So they're all connected. Control M, that's what the mixer is for, fine tuning. You could skip the mixer entirely and just work with this little thing, but that's there. Okay, so double tracking, splitting. Once again, say you wanted to turn this beginning guitar part down because it's really bad. I want to click right here, but it's not letting me because the snap is still on. So turn snap off, and oh, it's hard to see because my camera again. Boop. Okay, so I'm gonna click right here with snap off. I'm gonna zoom in. Okay, so right there, I'm gonna hit S, and it's gonna split this track. So when you listen to it, okay, I don't like that beginning, so I could turn this down. I could grab the top of it and pull it down. You could also, instead of pulling it down that way, you could grab the very end of a track and that little symbol will pop up. This is the fade symbol. So you grab this corner and you can pull in a fade. Which is really good for the end of songs. So if you want to add a fade, you can grab the end of a track, pull it in, grab the next one, pull it in, grab the next one. Depending on where your mouse is, you'll get different options. So you can grab the very end, you can grab the fade. You have to actually grab this, fade once you pull it out though. So once it's pulled out, then you grab it by this. So if you listen to it now everything's going to fade out nicely. Very nice. It'll probably be more apparent if you make it even deeper. And you can also right-click on this, and it gives you different shapes. So I like this shape sometimes. Let's turn all these into right-click, turn it into that shape. Now the fade's a little bit different. Very nice. Okay, I'm gonna hit Ctrl Z. Look how many times I just did Ctrl Z. So sometimes that can really get you out of a bind, okay? If you don't want to hear this beginning guitar part, you can split it and then also just delete it. You know what I mean? Once you have a recording, you can also double track solos and everything. You can do this double tracking thing whenever you want. And you can even do multiple takes on each side. This is where recording comes into play, which is just like you deciding what you want to do. Whatever sounds good is the ticket. Okay, so if I wanted to turn this into a file, you need to render it. So you can go to File, Render. Now you're going to need to select where you want this file to go. So browse for a directory and find the place where you made your save files. For me, it's this whatever you want folder. And we're going to call it Amazing Jam. So good. This is the master mix. So we're going to just try an entire project and see what happens. You want to pretty much ignore everything else except for the format. You can turn this into an MP3. We'll just do that. I would recommend either WAV or MP3. So we hit MP3, put it into place, name it, hit apply, render, file. We've made a file. Now if you see a bunch of red in here, that's because it was too loud and you'll need to turn down your faders so that it doesn't clip. And you'll see that here. It's not the end of the world, but that's how it works. Okay, so if you launch the file now, it'll automatically open it from your computer, or you can hit Show in Explorer, and that'll show you the folder that it's in. Amazing jam. So good. There's your template. You notice there's a lot of silence at the beginning. See this silence right here? Okay, we'll close this. So now what you can do is you can highlight this much of the song. Just click somewhere empty and drag, and you'll see these things pop up here, and you can put them at the beginning and the end of your song. And then when you render, okay, so what you do is you go to render. Once this is set, you can do time selection. So then it'll show you this is where the start time is, and this is where the end time is. That's where these little things are marked. We'll do a render, and since it's the same things already in there, it'll ask you to overwrite the first one. That's fine. Okay, now that silence is gone in the beginning. Let's show and explore. This is where your file is. There you go. All right. Well, that is the basics of rendering then, and some quick tips. I'll put the useful hotkeys into the description and just like a little list of them. But you don't need the hotkeys for anything. You can click around with your mouse and just, have fun that way. It's just over time, it's good to start like, you don't always need to be clicking. You got this. All right. YouTube video. YouTube video over. Bye-bye.